redo. I'm tired. Good night. Jay, you get to host now. Have fun. You can't click any of the buttons, but you get to do stuff, okay? Good night.
Oh, God. Oh, shit.
Welcome to Show Your Bill, where we talk about things and fun stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So first up, real quick, we're going to talk about this thing that I got from Samantha England, who asked about replacing her Takumi with a Klein. And you said, at least in our previous video, we went far too long on this, so just summarize as quickly as possible. Go, Jay. Go. Go.
Well, depends on IVs. First off, Takumi can still use Brave Bow, and to some extent better than Klein. But it depends on IVs. Like, if you have Attack Plus on Takumi or Attack Plus on Klein...
I'm timing you right now. Quick, keep going. I'm kidding. Just keep going.
One is going to be better than the other. It depends really on IVs.
10 seconds left!
Okay.
I'm only kidding. Anyways.
You've told me that he already has Threat and Death, which is perfect for a Brave Bow user.
Yes. Also has Swordbreaker, which you've said is good, so...
Yeah, it's the better B skill to deal with so many of those pesky, fast sword unit.
Yeah, and you already have Death Blow because it's Klein, so it's really up to you in that. So, yeah, I mean, it really depends on IVs, and that's all we really got to say there. So, yep, best of luck with your Takumi, or Klein. I mean, Klein will serve you pretty well, I think. Klein's a pretty good bow user.
He is.
And Jay is dying, slowly and steadily. Alright.
I'm already dead with my chance of fucking getting anything in this goddamn game.
Okay, so we actually have a very odd, well, not odd, but actually a unit that we haven't really talked about in the well, the whole video series here, and that's actually a Charlotte. So, you know, Charlotte came out, Bridal Charlotte, of course, and this is from lon'qu. And they wanted a good build for their Charlotte. This Charlotte herself has HP minus defense plus.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Huh? Yeah, well.
That's what I thought.
And honestly, I mean that's not a bad IV spread. It could be worse. You know, it could have affected attacker speed. Would have been bad if that happened, of course. But still.
Yeah, it makes her actually pretty solid.
Yeah, she's pretty beefy little unit at times. Granted, that res won't help, but still. All right, so.
I mean.
That's
a lost cost or res, but.
Yeah. No big deal. As for how you would build Charlotte, geez, okay, well.
Well, first off, she has a base 36 attack, so you can use a Brave Lance with Death Blow and all the good stuff. If you want to just capitalize on this defense, obviously Fury is going to be your better choice because then she hits 31 defense.
I mean, wind boost and things like that I really don't think would be that great.
Especially with HP minus, because at this point, you're not even going to be able to, like, proc wind boost on something as stupid as, like, Mass Lucina.
Yeah. Brave Lance is probably the best bet. I would honestly say maybe even, you know, Fury is a good option as well, because of course all the stats buffs is always something fun. But if you can't find that or somehow have Death Blow lying around, you could bring that along too. But as for what would you say for B slot?
I'm guessing Lens Breaker because Brave Lucina is starting to be pretty prevalent. So is Nephany.
Not only that, but it's just I mean, God, I don't even want to. Nephany's there. Brave Cena's there. It's just.
Camus is here.
Camus is also there. Yep. I mean, if you really need something, Lance Breaker's probably your best bet for that one. And for C skills, well, that's kind of odd.
Well, C skill, you go threat and defense since you're actually hitting twice and you want to kill instantly. Yeah. That's like an option.
And if not, just go a hone. I mean,
yeah, a hone or a fortify depends on your team comp, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you have someone who needs, you know, a buff in some sense, go with a hone or fortify. But I mean, if you don't, or you want her to be a little bit, I mean, she does have defense, right? So
Yeah.
She could stand there in the front of the field if she needs to take a bit of a brunt force. So threaten does work, and that's and also what special skill?
For this. Yeah, I was going to point that out. If you're going to use Fury Bonfire, obviously. If not, well, with Brave Lance, you kind of don't have enough attack, so Luna would be a bit better.
And, I was about to say Luna would be a good option, and...
Actually, since you hit 44, if you have Death Blow 3, you can actually consider Draconicora.
Oh, yeah,
that's
you're right.
Good.
Death Blow does work with that pretty well. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that would... So, just to reiterate, also reposition, fun stuff like that. Reposition, draw back, blah, 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 normal stuff. But still, if you're running Fury, Bonfire. If you're running Death Blow, Draconic Aura maybe, if you feel like it. Or otherwise, Luna. That the basic synopsis of what we got there?
Yeah, boy.
Alrighty. Okay, so thank you, Lumdy, sorry. For some reason, I'm kind of stupid. Anyways, thank you, Lumdy, for your Charlotte. Alright, moving on. I'm not too certain about this one, because this was sent by someone who wanted help on their Sonya build from Henry, but, to be frank, I'm not really seeing too much of a problem here.
Except that special. Oh god, that special, why?
They specifically mentioned that they loved Blazing Thunder and things like that because it was an AoE ability, but let's just say that typically when it comes to AoE abilities, it doesn't really do too much. Like, sure, it's going to wipe out a lot of health on the one unit, but this is what they said in their email. I use my Sonya as a glass cannon with Blazing Thunder to take out the stronger enemies. My experience with it has been wonderful. She's been one-hit KOing the Black Knight and Tempest without giving him a chance to counter, and takes all the enemies behind him to 1 HP. The main team consists of, well, there's all their main team. Her being a bigger contender with the Green Mage in my main team. She has Spur Attack 2 as her in-skill slot, in case she needs, for her C. I'm not super competitive and don't have money to buy orbs constantly to pull from summons, but I would like to make an attempt at making good units. Well, she would do better with an actual ability that's in there. I know you like Blazing Thunder, but it is far too slow, I would say, to actually profit. To be fair, in a Tempest Trial, 5 cooldown moves actually become relevant. Yes, in Tempest
Trial.
But
as he said, or she said, it works well for him, her, when it comes down to dealing with that very specific situation.
They prefer they them. So, anyways, yeah. If Henry, if you really want to, I suggest at least maybe putting on something. To take advantage of Dark Excalibur in situations that isn't Tempest Trials, or...
Yeah, if anything, if you're talking about Arena, Moonbow or Iceberg as well could be a good idea, because Iceberg will do
there, so yeah, Iceberg...
Yeah, Iceberg will do a consistent... Iceberg will do a consistent 28 extra damage, which is ridiculous. Most of the units that get hit by that get KO'd.
And we mostly say that because of Dark Excalibur's ability, of course, Not only that, but since she has the resistance to back it up. It doesn't hurt to, have these options around, because while I know you like the AoE Blazing Thunder and it works for you in Tempest Trials, triggering that in anything else otherwise can be a bit hard, so...
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of also like how my Brave Hike is Bonfire and Aether. I use Aether in Tempest Trial, but outside of that I use Bonfire because it's so much easier to rely on. I'd say, just go for Moonbow or Iceberg on her. That's what I use most of the time.
Yeah.
Again, if AoE works in the situation that you're into and you like that, go for that. But in most situations, Moonbow and Iceberg just does better overall. Another thing would be probably use Fury.
Yeah, Fury works really well on her because, she can take advantage of the Again, Iceberg really works with resistance really well for her, so it would boost that up. And it
I-
also
I'm
boosts
act-
her speed, her attack, and everything else. So,
I maxed her Euro Merit twice because I maxed her on both accounts, and I just gotta say that Mirror Strike is better for Tempest Trial, but Fury is better for Arena.
oh yeah,
because
don't.
then you can actually bait and get extra damage,
It's
because
kinda like-
that's really what she is. She's a baiter.
Yeah, she's a master at it. We're not going to talk about
yeah.
that, but still, nonetheless, don't ever use Fury in Tempest Trials. I mean, you could make it work at times, but I'd really highly suggest against it usually. So that's just me, though. Anyways, but yeah, I think that's a pretty good example of what we think would be a little bit better for Sonya if you decide to go with it.
Her B skill is already perfect as
Yeah.
is. You don't need to fix that.
Yep, Green Tomebreaker is a great skill to have. Not so sure about Resistance Ploy, but I don't really recall how... I don't know.
It's kind of pointless in my opinion, because you need to have high res to lower the res of the enemy. Which,
yeah.
okay.
You could probably... I mean, any sort of... with Sonya, I usually go with a Hone or a Fortify myself, because... just nice to have an additional unit that can do that if need be.
Yeah, in my case, I use own speed on her.
Yeah, I use Hone Speed as well, actually. So she has both Hone Speed and Attack for when I need the situation, just in case. So, fun stuff like that.
Yeah, that sounds fun, right?
So Res Ploy, probably not the best, but still, just go with what you can, and that's about it really for her. I mean, everything else on her seems pretty good. Alrighty, so thank you, Henry, for sending that in. We will move on to the next one now. So this one's actually a bit of an interesting little topic because it's Camus. And this person, come on, notes please. Okay, let me just, Camus, Ryan, that's who sent this one in. They were asking basically about, they sent in several characters, but I picked out the Camus because that was a unit that they actually wanted to, build. Everyone else was there, pretty much built up Ryoma and Black Knight, which were really good. So, and they were also asking, how exactly would you build a horse team? Like, he doesn't know how to build it properly. So, how would you go into it? What would you put on this Camus, and to make him much more powerful?
I mean, it depends on the team you're in, because, first off, Camus comes with Go Cavalry.
Which is already a pretty phenomenal skill.
It's already really useful, but you have to keep in mind, he's the only unit that gets it to 4-star, so... if you run him with, like, Brave Bull Lin and, like, Reinhardt, Goat is better, and you can at least, like, also kill maybe a spare for a Goat on another.
Yeah, the general idea is if you have a more melee-based, unit, Goats are really valuable because, especially with, like, Bravelin and, any sort of other melee unit, that just typically...
Or Reinhardt and Olwen, because fuck up.
Yeah, because then, they just explode. Because, Goads stack. That's they're an invisible stat. So Goads usually, things like that are just impressive to stack on top of one another because that will lead to massive amounts of buffs and stats, It's insane.
Yeah, if you're not going to use, like, that kind of team comp and you just want to use, like, mages with, like, Blade Tome...
Yeah.
What I tend to use is give Fortify to Camus, and then I run Xander on the same team, which has Own, because that way they can support each other. Camus basically buffs the death of Xander, which is a tank, and Xander buffs the speed and attack of Camus, who's more of an attacker.
Yep. And that way, the Blade Tomes can also get affected by it, and Blade Tomes, due to the fact that they work via stat increments that are the green visible numbers to boost their damage, that means that they're going to get an exponential buff in their damage output. So it's really, when people say horse emblem, it's really between two types of horse emblem, the Goads or the Blade Tome users, and you need to build specifically around those generally, because that's how that works.
Yep.
But I mean, if you were to go with that, you would, one would easily be Goads, just Goads because he already has it, and the second would just be whatever Fortify or Hone you can possibly put on it for horse units, if you're using Blade Tome units that can benefit from that. But other than that, Goads would be probably your best bet.
As for like the rest of the build, it's pretty self-explanatory. Reposition, Bonfire, Fury, Quick Repose, Desperation can both work. Quick Repose is more for the kill. Vantage can also work.
Yep.
Quick, I say Desperation because in a Goat team you're going to have already you're already going to have over 40 speed, and even with Own, if you have Fury 3, that's 42 speed.
Yeah, he's going to have a ton of speed. Especially when in a horse team. So, I mean, Desperation can work. Quick Riposte is mostly just so you can, just in case you come up against a unit for some reason who's super fast. Or
it's just like, you both get to a stalemate, okay, like, you can double him, but he can double you, but that way you ensure the double.
Yep, I mean, as for the C-slot, we've kind of already gone over that, so...
Yep.
I mean, best of luck to you, Brian. I hope you can make Camus here work as well as we think you can. I'm sure you can do it. Just remember, Goads, Fortifies, or Hones. Those are the two fields you can go into for our good friend. It doesn't hurt to have both of them. That way he can be flexible. So.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the next one. This is... oh boy. This is a Cecilia from Kaze Gaming, and they were asking if there was any way to make her much more useful in the battle. I don't know if they were asking about actual...
Boy, Kaze Gaming, I can't wait for Kagero Gaming to come up, and Saizo Gaming.
I don't know if you would, I mean, with Cecilia, there's, we're going to obviously be like, well, you could give her a Blade Tome and make her go into a Horse Emblem team if you have that, but...
Well, to be fair, Cecilia outside of a horse team is kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, but it can be, but...
But, like, in a fucking horse team, she just jumps the fuck up just because she gets an extra 30 attack.
Yep, she does. I mean, Blade Tome really just... it's really hard to explain just how valuable a Blade Tome horse team is. So I would really suggest if you're going with Cecilia, since she's so, amazing in how she can work with that, I would really suggest going Blade Tome and then, of course, putting her in a Horse Emblem team. Because
also she has kind of like the basic green mage set, okay? You use Fury with Green Tome Breaker, essentially. Since she's gonna use a Blade Tome had their bonuses to attack, and it counts for Draconic Aura and Fang.
Yeah.
So I'd suggest obviously going for Aura because you're going to sit at 76 attack. C-skill is pretty self-explanatory. That's just horse buffs, and if you want to use her outside of horse teams, well. She's kind of hard to make work.
Yeah, she's a bit difficult to work outside of. It's kind of like how Ursula is the same sort of situation in a way. Like, she's underwhelming outside of Horse Emblem. But when she's introduced to that and has the right setup, she can destroy. Cecilia's in the same sort of situation. To
give you an idea, for the most part, a attack plus all-win can kill most of the game, if not all.
Yeah. And
she has 30 attack and 34 speed. Ursula's 29 attack and 32 speed. She's free.
Yeah. But still, I mean, I love Cecilia, and I hope you can work something out with her. But, again, just be aware that a lot of these units that are the mages, really do jump up a lot when used in Horse Emblem. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next one. This is actually a pretty recent email. I just went through and looked. I'm like, yeah, we could probably tackle this. This is from Michael, and he wants to try to make his Brave Roy work, because his Brave Roy, according to this...
Attack minus.
Yes, attack minus, res plus. He was wondering if Brave Roy is still usable, and I'm just going to tell you right now, yes, of course he is. I mean, the attack...
Well, he's kind of like in a position where 48... He's basically like the same position as Ike. He has trouble using Heavy Blade because his attack is minus. But the difference that he has with Ike is he has access to horse buffs. And with, like, own cavalry buffed with Fury, that's still, like, 57 attack. So it will proc.
It will proc. And, I mean, even then, I mean, that does work with goads as well. So, I mean, whenever someone says, I got an attack minus, you know, especially for Roy, I mean, attack does hurt a little bit. It's something that happens, but still, you need to remember, he has quite a lot of attack, even then. And he's on a horse, so he has the advantage there as well. That again, we just came off Cecilia, and we discussed how she jumps up quite a bit when in horse team. Same sort of situation for Roy, especially since he has access to that heavy blade built into his weapon. That also frees up a good old, you know, passive slot to use.
It's mainly for the fact that you can actually fix the attack stat with like.
Yeah. I would say if you're going to run Roy at all, Michael, I would really put him in a horse emblem team. That really just helps him so much. It benefits him so well. We've been saying that a lot. We're going to be saying that a lot because people have been asking, but oh my god.
Yep. One thing you can also do, if you do not want to use him in a horse emblem team, which, well, while it's the most optimal, is still doable, I'd suggest to you to give him threaten attack to make up for his attack minus.
Yeah. That way he can proc, you know, Blazing Durandal's passive effect easier. You know, Heavy Blade is certainly something that you want to have trigger when you can, since you want to take advantage of that. As for A and B skills, what would you think? I mean...
well, let's tackle this special skill right away. That's Draconic Aura.
Yeah. Because
that way, when you attack, you lose 2 cooldown, then you get attack, then you proc the skill and fuck them up.
Yep.
For the A skill, obviously Fury would be better because he kind of needs the speed and the attack. That's the problem. Like, his A skill isn't bad, but if you want a Heavy Blade to work more consistently, especially because of attack minus, you'll want to have, like...
You want to boost that attack as much as possible, simply put. And it doesn't...
It kind of sucks that he just didn't come with Swift Sparrow instead of it, because god damn, that would have made him so much better.
Swift Sparrow is a good idea. I mean, Death Blow can also work. I mean, those are your basic options when it comes to a Brave Roy build. B. That's a man. That's a
well, he comes with Desperation.
Yeah, I mean,
also, if you have Fury and then you're buff with own cavalry, that's 43 speed.
And we've kind of already gone over that with Cecilia. You know, same basic principle. More speed, well, Desperation will definitely help him. I mean, you'll be able to trigger that pretty effectively.
Another skill is obviously Swordbreaker.
Yeah.
If you want to be more consistent, but Desperation works fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's just to take care of the pesky sword units that show up occasionally, because there's a lot of them, and he will go after quite a bit of them as well. Oh god. I hit my mic! Jay, help! There's an earthquake! No, okay,
I'll punch your mic.
Don't do that. Next up, I mean, and C skill, we've kind of gone over what you can do. You know, horse buffs. Or if you're running another, you know, thing, threaten attack. I think that's about it for our good friend Roy here. And of course, reposition, draw back, blah blah blah. You know, typical stuff. So, especially on a horse unit, you know, a cavalier, it's good to have repositional abilities since they move so much. Outside of that, well, we're pretty much doing. Apparently, was what I was gonna say. So
done, yeah, boy, we done. Mike,
I got sent the Cecilia. It's +8. It's also in another language I don't understand.
That's Spanish, I think.
I know Spanish. Here, let me display my fantastic Spanish skills. Taco. Burrito.
Oh boy.
Enchilada. All right, there we go. I'm really good at this, but now, someone really put a lot of dedication into this Cecilia. A lot of it. Oh my god. +8, and of course, seems to also be in a horse emblem team.
You know, the worst part is I can make up, like, what everything of this is, aside from the weapon.
I know, right? I'm like, okay, so there's, there's Draconic Aura, there's Fury, there's Vantage, there's, I believe that's Hone, Cavalier. But...
By the way, Refugio, or however you pronounce this, that's for position.
Yeah. As for what that is, I don't know. It just looks like Chinchilla's Jade. I don't understand. Why are you using a chinchilla as a weapon? Please explain this to me. Explain.
Just imagine a picture of, like, Cecilia just throwing chinchillas at the enemy.
This was sent by Victor, by the way. Thank you, Victor, for your fantastic Cecilia. If this is yours, it better be. I don't know what VH and PIMF are, but you certainly have a lot of that.
Hero merit and...
Yes, I know. I'm well aware of
Point the ill.
Oh, good lord, stop. Alright, moving on. Here is a... This is from... Let me just go down the list to make sure. Huh. Do I not have... Oh, God. I'm not on the list. I will look this up real quick. Here's the Black Knight.
Did you fuck up?
For some reason, they're not on the list. I don't understand. Let me just...
Oh, great.
What do you think?
People are absolute fucktards.
What's wrong with it? I don't understand. This was from Moletta.
I'm going to post this in the chat as a sneak peek.
Oh god. What? You don't like Windsweep on your How about Distant Counter along with Slaying Edge? Do you not like Slaying Edge? I don't understand what's the problem here. What's the problem? Explain. Come on. Are you just gonna ignore this?
Yes, I am. Fuck this shit.
But he went through all, he or she went through all the effort. I'll just go with they. Went through all the effort of adding Distant Counter, Panic Play, Windsweep. I don't even remember where Windsweep comes from. Doesn't that come from Elm? I don't fucking care anymore.
Yes, it is. Also, I just love the reaction in the chat. What the fuck? What the fuck is this? What?
You've ruined us. You've ruined me just much. And then finally, before we go, I do have to give special mention to Jared, who I'm still looking for and will murder when I find him. For obvious reasons.
Oh, great. The Fortress Death build I saw before.
Just don't know. But again, guys, if you want to send your submissions for Show Me Your Build, feel free to send them to my Twitter in the description, my Discord in the description, or my email submissions for, that's the number 4, sages@gmail.com, also in the description. And we will be here debating why we live through such trying times as what we're seeing in front of us. Or this. I don't know what this is, but it makes me upset. Alrighty, guys.
The Black Knight just makes me go, why did you kill a fucking Saber for this already? Like Saber, Actor, Alm, and that's about all I can remember.
Yeah, because Alm is one character you really want to kill for that Windsweep, boys.
Oh boy, then he can use Phantom Speed. Which, by the way, fun fact, if you use Phantom Speed with a weapon with a built-in breaker skill, you actually double.
I know, it's strange, right?
No, but Windsweep cancels your chance to double in the first place. That's why. It's weird.
I don't know.
Sadly, only users of, like, Assassin's Bow can do this right now.
Well, maybe we'll see some more of that soon. But for now, guys, thank you, Jay, for joining, as always, buddy.
Yeah, boy!
And I'm just going to cry over this Black Knight. For now, though, guys, I'll catch you all later. Thanks for tuning in. And Jay, thanks for joining me, as always.
Yay!
I'm going to bed!